Thinking about making a big move? Maybe you're tired of your current city's home or rent prices that feel more like a monthly ransom, or perhaps you just can't deal with another awkward run-in with your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend at a local coffee shop. Either way, 2025 is calling and it's saying call a realtor, but where should you go? Don't worry, we did the hard work so you don't have to. We're counting down the top 10 cities to move to in 25 or 26. All these cities got ranked by a survey we ran where we asked people where they're looking to move in the next 2 years. It's 2 years because the average time frame for a person to move is thinking about it for a year, calling a realtor, or doing research on the place about a year out, and then finally pulling a trigger sometime after that, usually within 2 years. So stick around, your dream city might be waiting for you, or at least a place where potholes won't swallow your entire car. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Gotta apologize. First of all, I got a really nasty sore throat. I'm not trying to do an RFK Jr. impersonation, I promise. Pittsburgh, the Steel City turned Tech City. This place has turned it around, almost like they were on a reality TV makeover show. Once known for smokestacks and soot, Pittsburgh is now home to robotics companies and actually an attractive skyline. The cost of living here is shockingly reasonable, which is good because you'll be able to save money so you can afford Steelers tickets. Or maybe some pierogies. Healthy food? Never heard of it in Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh has changed. It's got jobs and it does have a low cost of living. Housing prices are relatively low as well, which is strange for a major city, a city that's also got a good tech scene. That usually means everything's going through the roof. I get people email me all the time to ask about Pittsburgh. It's one of the most common emails I get. What's it like to live in Pittsburgh? Is it worth it? And a lot of times I'll give them a report. Yes, we have a side business where we actually research places to live for people. A lot of people like Pittsburgh though. Like I said, it's got jobs, got affordability. So I definitely agree with it making the list. But don't sleep on the cultural scene either. They got museums, theaters, and even sports teams that sometimes win things, believe it or not. If you go to Cleveland, they don't. Winters are cold, but the people are warm. Well, unless you mention the Ravens or the Cleveland Browns, then all bets are off. So the stats for Pittsburgh, the average home value is about $227,000. I was just poking around Zillow, and you can get decent places for right around $200,000 that need a little work. If you want something decent, ready to go, you're looking at about $270,000 on up. That's some of the nicer neighborhoods, and they do go way up into the $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. But I think $270,000 is a good place to look. Their crime rate is 24% above the national average, which, like I always say, that's not terrible. We have cities in this country that have crime rates that are 440% above the national average. So 24% is nothing. The quality of life score in Pittsburgh is 84, which is decent. Anything into the 65, 70 area is good. Anything above 75, I would say is someplace you should really look at moving to. So 84 is outstanding. Pittsburgh got 36 out of 2,000 votes. Remember, we're listed 100 cities, so there's a lot of votes to be spread around over a wide area. Number 9, Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, the city you didn't know you'd love. It's not just a city in a flyover state anymore. It's a place where you can afford a house and still have money left over for things like furniture. And if you're in California or New York, you're probably thinking, wow, wild concept. The Old Market District is charming with cobblestone streets and enough boutiques to make you feel fancy. And did I mention the steaks? Oh yeah, move here and you'll become a meat connoisseur in no time. Vegetarians, proceed with caution. I don't think it's acceptable there. I'm sure people are vegetarian, but I'm sure they get looked down upon. Omaha is an affordable place to live. I really like it, so I get why this one's on the list too. Plus, it has one of the best zoos I've ever been to. Your kids might like it too, Take them to the zoo, they can look at penguins instead of scrolling over TikTok. But to be honest, it's not the most exciting city, but sometimes boring is code for I'm not broke and stressed. If you've ever thought about moving to an affordable city, definitely look at Omaha. It's a sleeper, I think, and I don't think it's on a lot of people's lists. The average home value here is $276,000. Poking around Zillow, I think that's about right. You can get a livable home for about $270,000, $275,000. If you want to find one that needs some work, you're probably looking at about $200,000, maybe $225,000. The crime rate here is 64% above the national average. The quality of life is 83, and 39 people out of 2,000 picked Omaha, Nebraska. Number 8, Atlanta. Atlanta, the city where peaches and hustle collide. This place is a cultural melting pot with a thriving job market, an incredible food scene, and traffic that will make you reconsider not moving to the Australian outback. Atlanta, it ranks up there in the top 10, top 20 usually, but every time I've been to Atlanta and driven there in the last 20 years, I'd say, I was amazed by how bad the traffic was. It also seemed like a whole lot of people didn't have mufflers on their cars or something. It was weird. Now, Atlanta made the list, even though the cost of living is rising, but it's still affordable than most major metros, so I guess that's the one good thing. I mean, Atlanta is brought up in the same conversations with New York City, Los Angeles, Seattle, Boston, Miami. It's that big. It's one of the biggest cities. I think it's overlooked by a lot of people. It's a really nice city, though. I like Atlanta. It's got neighborhoods ranging from historic to hipster. You're guaranteed to find the neighborhood you're looking for there. But if you could survive the summer heat and the traffic, Atlanta offers endless opportunities. Plus, there's no shortage of things to do, whether you're into art, sports, or pretending you like hiking. I got a message on Instagram, I don't know, about a year ago. Some girl said she remembered me from a strip club in Atlanta. I thought, well, that's intriguing. And she said I was a big tipper. Well, that's even more intriguing because the last time I was in a strip club in Atlanta, I was like 21 and I was broke. Then I looked at her picture and I said, no, that wasn't me. Maybe you're thinking of someone your mom meant, because this girl's probably like 25. I was like, no. Anyway, the average home value in Atlanta is $390,000. The crime rate is 97% above the national average. That's not great, but people overlook that a lot of times. Their quality of life score is 78, and it received 43 out of 2,000 votes. Number 7, Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to Louisville, the land of bourbon, baseball bats, and derby hats. If you're looking for a city with rich culture and even richer whiskey scene, Louisville is calling your name. The housing market here is so affordable, it's borderline suspicious. I think I brought that up in a video I had before, where it is remarkably cheap. You could buy a home in Louisville, Kentucky for about the same money you would spend for a month at a Malibu, California beachfront Airbnb. I'm not even kidding. These cities also revitalize downtown and historic districts, offer a perfect blend of old world charm and new world fun. That's a direct quote from one of their little promos. I thought it was kind of cheesy, but effective. This place has trendy breweries, quirky coffee shops, and a dining scene that goes way beyond Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you ever get bored, you can get a mint julep and head down and watch some horse racing. Even if you know nothing about horses, yell go number 5. I've been to the horse races before. It's pretty fun. Never been to, well, I haven't watched the race, but I've been to the Kentucky Derby, and yeah, I was younger. But Louisville's a great place to live right now, especially if you're looking for a cheap place to live. The average home value in Louisville is $242,000. Their crime rate is 16% below the national average. Now, they don't have the best schools and a couple other things, so their quality of life score is 67, a little bit lower than some of the other ones on this list. But 60 out of 2,000 people voted for Louisville. Number 6, Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, where history, charm, and humidity collide like a freight train hitting a tank. We just talked about Charleston in another video. I love Charleston. The city is so picturesque, it's basically an Instagram filter come to life. Cobblestone streets, pastel houses, and enough southern hospitality to make you question if people are genuinely this nice or they're faking it. In most cases, they are that nice. The food scene is incredible. Like I said in a past video, they got shrimp and grits, and they also got fried chicken that could probably solve world peace. Beaches, they got historic Civil War locations. It's a great place to live or vacation. That is until hurricane season hits and everyone's, backside gets a little bit tighter than it was the day before. Sure, housing prices are creeping up, but you'll be too busy sipping sweet tea on your porch to really care. Just invest in a dehumidifier. Or 10. The average home value in Charleston is about $561,000. See, the place is a good place to live, that it's actually getting on this list with that high of home prices. The crime rate is 3% below the national average, and the quality of life score is 77. Charleston, South Carolina got 67 out of 2,000 votes. Number 5, Shawnee, Kansas. Mind blown. I think I've been doing this channel, since 2017 making videos? I believe this is the first time we've talked about Shawnee, or it's shown up on a list. And as I've done the research, Shawnee is a great place to live. Shawnee is like Kansas City's more calm younger sibling who figured out how to be cool without trying too hard. Nestled in the Kansas City metro area, this suburb offers a perfect blend of small town charm with big city convenience, all without the sticker shock that comes with urban living. It's the kind of place where you could actually buy a house with a yard big enough for a dog, a garden, and maybe a trampoline if you're feeling froggy. The schools are excellent, making Shawnee a top pick for families looking to escape the chaos of a city. But don't let the quiet suburban life fool you. There's plenty to do, from hiking and biking in the Shawnee Mission Park to trying out local craft breweries. You'll never feel like you're stuck in a snooze fest, like if you moved to Iowa or something. The city's just a short drive from downtown Kansas City, so if you want to go watch the Chiefs over there in Missouri, or something else, there's plenty to do in this city. And let's not forget affordability. Shawnee is one of those places where your paycheck actually goes a long way. Whether you're a young professional or growing family, or just someone who wants to stretch their budget without compromising the quality of life, Shawnee's the place for you. A little bonus is you'll get to enjoy some of the best barbecue in the country and get to go watch the Kansas City Chiefs. I am surprised they haven't made them change their name yet. The average home value in Shawnee, Kansas is $385,000. I poked around. About $325,000 will get you something decent, livable. If you want to put some serious work into it, you can get below $300,000. Those are few and far between, though. The crime rate is 29% below the national average, and their quality of life score is 88. 69 people voted for Shawnee, Kansas. Number 4, St. Augustine, Florida. This one I'm a little surprised about too. St. Augustine's a great place to live, but I think there's better places in Florida to live. But people chose St. Augustine. Known as the oldest city in the United States, this coastal gem blends centuries-old history with modern amenities, all the while keeping housing prices far more reasonable than its flashier Florida neighbors. The historic downtown is a living museum filled with cobblestone streets, quirky shops, and restaurants that serve up fresh seafood and locally brewed beer. Plus, you got an old castle there in case you feel like playing Game of Thrones. Castillo de San Marcos. It's a 17th century stone fortress. If that doesn't float your boat, head on over to Anastasia State Park or St. Augustine Beach for some sun, sand, and margaritas, or 3 if you need to. Despite its touristy charm, St. Augustine is surprisingly calm for residents. The cost of living is manageable, and the pace of life is ideal for anyone looking to trade in big city stress for a laid-back coastal vibe. And to the person who keeps texting me, commenting, that I need to quit using the word vibe because that's what the kids use, I've been using that since I was a kid. It's a very common beach term, and I grew up blocks from the beach in Redondo Beach, California. But back to St. Augustine, Florida. It's a great place to live. You got to worry about hurricane season. That's about it. And it gets a little, warm. Big deal. The average home value in St. Augustine, Florida is $450,000. Crime rate is about 27% above the national average. Like I said, that's nothing compared to other major cities. The quality of life score here is 87. Not bad. And 99 people voted for St. Augustine. Number 3, Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, where history meets hipster. If you've ever wanted to sip locally brewed coffee while standing on a Civil War battlefield, this is the place for you. The city is a mix of old school Southern charm and modern urban edge, which basically means they've got barbecue joints right next to vegan cafes. Side by side, they do it all the time there. Could you imagine smelling barbecue from the parking lot and going into a vegan restaurant to be terribly disappointed? The whole time, all you can smell is that barbecue going on next door. Dudes end up there because they had a Tinder date that suggested that. I'd be about 10 minutes into that Tinder date and go, you know what? I don't care what you look like. I'm going to get some barbecue. The James River offers kayaking, rafting, and enough Instagrammable sunsets to make your ex jealous. Plus, they got a pretty hearty art scene. Think mural-covered walls and galleries that make you nod your head thoughtfully while not understanding what the painting is all about. I could fake the love of art pretty good. Housing is hit or miss, but it's still cheaper than DC, which is basically Richmond's rich, stressed out cousin. It's about 2 hours away to the north. A lot of people that work in Washington, DC actually live in like Alexandria, Arlington, and Bethesda. You can move here for the laid-back lifestyle and just enough traffic to keep you mildly annoyed, not over-the-top road rage. I'm sure it happens, but not that much. The average home value in Richmond, Virginia is $348,000. The crime rate is about 56% above the national average, and the quality of life is 84. 118 people voted for Richmond, Virginia. Number 2, Columbus, Ohio. Columbus may not scream glamour, but it's the kind of city that sneaks up on you in a good way. Not like me following my wife up a flight of stairs. With a thriving job market, a booming food scene, and affordable housing, this Midwest gem is perfect for anyone looking to live well without spending like the Kardashians. The neighborhoods here are extremely different, from like the artsy South-North district to the more laid-back German village, where cobblestone streets and cozy cafes make you feel like you've accidentally wandered into a rom-com. Oh, and this is also where Ohio State is, so you can go watch the Buckeyes whenever they're, playing a home game. Winters can be chilly here, just keep that in mind. But a good bowl of Skyline chili can fix that right away. Just don't call it soup, or you'll be offending the locals, I promise you. Columbus is like the ultimate sleeper for cities to move to. I think a lot of people ignore it, or they just overlook it, and it's a good place to live. I think it's because it's in Ohio, which isn't in the greatest shape, and they got cities like Dayton and Cleveland and Toledo. You just assume Columbus has got to suck too. But no, pretty decent place to live, and affordable. The average home value here is $241,000. The crime rate is about 69% above the national average, and the quality of life score is 81. 165 people voted for Columbus. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to any city on this list or any city in the United States, there's a link in the description area below for Home and Money. They can get you in contact with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. They also have a bunch of other cool tools on their website. Just check it out. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Logan, Utah. Logan, Utah, a hidden gem tucked away in the stunning Cache Valley. By the way, if you ever want to get people to make comments on your videos and this one comes into play, call it Cache Valley because it's spelt like that. The locals will lose their minds. It's pretty funny, actually. Anyway, Logan, Utah, where life moves at a refreshingly slower pace and your dollar stretches like it's been doing yoga. And it also can get pretty hot, like Roseanne Barr's armpit when she's doing hot yoga. But if you're looking for breathtaking mountain views, friendly neighbors, and a cost of living that won't make you cry into your ramen noodles, Logan might just be the place for you. Home of Utah State University, Logan is a charming college town without the overwhelming chaos of a larger university city. Think a healthy mix of intellectual energy and down-to-earth community spirit. Outdoor enthusiasts will feel like they've hit the jackpot. Whether you're into skiing at Beaver Mountain or hiking Logan Canyon or fishing Bear Lake, Logan's backyard is essentially a playground for grown-ups that like the outdoors. And no, you don't have to pretend to be outdoorsy to enjoy it. Just drive through it, snap some photos, and fool your friends. I don't know how many of you guys think this, but I better bring it up because I get the question quite often. You do not have to be a Mormon to live in Utah. I've seen that in the comment section several times, and I saw one guy arguing with someone that in Brigham City, which is north of Salt Lake City and a little southwest of Logan, no, you don't have to be a Mormon to live in that city either. I'm sure it would help. I mean, a good percentage of this state is Mormon. But it's not mandatory. I don't know the laws on it, but I'm sure it's extremely illegal to force people to be a religion to live in a state. The housing market in Logan is shockingly reasonable. I mean, it is a well-maintained city. They have great stats. The weather isn't horrible. The scenery is gorgeous. Sure, you might get frostbite eventually during the winter, but it's really a nice place to live and it's affordable. They're also big into local ice cream, so be prepared for that. The average home value in Logan is $378,000. The crime rate is 38% below the national average. That's below. Quality of life is 88, and 224 people chose Logan, Utah. I think that's fitting. Those are great stats. It's a great place to live. Why not? All right, that's today's video. If you like this one, you probably like one of the 2 videos being suggested right now. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.